Hey everyone, it's Denise Brown from the Caregiving Years Training Academy. This is an overview of our training programs. And if you're watching the archive, thanks for watching. If you're here with me live, thanks for being here with me. We're going to do an overview of the programs. The core programs or the premium programs are our Caregiving Consultant and Comfort Care Family Coach programs. And those are what I consider to be life coaches for family caregivers and former family caregivers. Our Comfort Care Family Coaches start to help a family caregiver when palliative care starts, and then to continue to support that family caregiver through hospice services, through end of life, and then after caregiving ends. Our Caregiving Consultants help a family caregiver at any point throughout their experience. So from the very beginning, all the way through after caregiving ends. I think about these individuals as answering this question: how can I be with you? So we are the life coaches that really are present to support that family caregiver. Our work is around supporting the family caregiver. We are not specific to a disease process or a particular type of caregiving situation. We study the family caregiver experience and then provide tools, strategies, and a knowledge base to help you support them. After completing our training programs, you decide your niche. For instance, we have certified caregiving consultants who support those who are caring for a person with dementia. I just connected with one of our newer program participants, and she's going to support family caregivers in a rural area. You can get as specific as you'd like about your niche. It's helpful to have a specialty, a group of clients that you work with. We did a special event this past Saturday called Impact Caregiving. It's a 3-hour event with 6 different workshops, and we talk about your specialty and your niche during that time. It's a great resource. I'll include a link to that workshop, those series of workshops, when I follow up with the archive and the PowerPoint. We also have more practical and, I would say, lower entry point training programs. And one of them is our Certified Caregiving Specialist. And these individuals are virtual assistants for family caregivers. And when I think about their work, I think about the question, what can I do for you? So a virtual assistant takes on chores, responsibilities, manages the to-do list, helps the family caregiver stay organized. The caregiving coach is around the emotional support. The caregiving specialist is around the practical support. As a small business, I enjoy having both. I like to have a business coach, and I also like to have a virtual assistant because they help me for different reasons and they help me keep going. We have a new type of program called a professional listening artist. That individual creates listening sessions that a client pays for. And I think about this work as related to this question: what story can I receive from you today? So how can I be with you? What can I do for you? What story can I receive from you today? We have training programs that create professionals who provide the answers to those questions that a client might be really struggling with. We know in a caregiving situation, it can be difficult to find someone who will sit and be with us during a painful, overwhelming experience. We also know that we are overwhelmed by a to-do list. It's helpful to have a professional who can help take items off that to-do list and organize our to-do list. And then it's helpful just to have someone that we can call and say, I need to vent. And the professional listening artist says, okay, let's schedule time. Our programs really elevate the lived experience. And really, in order to be qualified for these programs, you just want to have a lived experience. having cared for a family member, or worked significantly with family caregivers. In addition, there's a trend that has started where Medicare is reimbursing for auxiliary personnel to provide certain types of services, and training and certification are required in order for those auxiliary personnel to be reimbursed. And we're really working to be able to position ourselves as having auxiliary personnel who can work within a clinic setting and provide reimbursable services. I just had a conversation yesterday with someone who had an insight that I have as well, and it was refreshing to hear it from someone else. It's really helpful to take a training program that expands your insights about the caregiving experience. Our training program helps you gain peace about what you experienced so you can be at peace supporting someone else during their experience. Our personal experience inspires our work. We show up, though, completely in support of a client. Our story inspires our work, but our story isn't part of our work with a client, because we are working with a client to figure out what works for them. We understand what worked for ourselves, but every situation is different. And we teach you the strategies to use to gain insights in order to best support a client and what they need. And what they need might be different than what you needed, and might be different than the next client you serve. And the skills that you learn allow you to show up to best understand what a client needs and how you can meet those needs. And I also think it's important that we have a training program to support and elevate our lived experience. It adds a level of professionalism into what we do. Just some insights about what our caregiving consultants have done after their training program. So one of our consultants is contracted with her county to provide support for direct service workers, which includes family caregivers. Our consultants deliver workshops. They've created their own courses that they sell to family caregivers. They have paid membership programs. They get paid for presentations. And they also could be paid influencers and providing content. Okay, I'm going to share this PowerPoint so you're going to see all the successes. Just going to mention a couple other things, open it up for some quick questions, and I'll get back to a couple of other things that are part of our presentation. I don't want to be in a business by myself, right? So I want to be with others. I want to be aligned with others who also want to really commit to making the caregiving experience an easier one, a less overwhelming one. And that's really the goal of the different training programs. In addition, I know how hard it is to start a small business. We think about loneliness during a caregiving experience. I will tell you it's just as lonely to start a small business. So I want you to be in the company of a community that understands how courageous it is to put your work out into the world. And I also want you to feel really equipped to support someone during probably the most painful part of their life, and that's a caregiving experience. We know that family caregivers are in crisis. There's new research coming out every day that just really speaks to how hard it is to be in a caregiving experience. And part of the struggle that family caregivers face is it's very difficult for them to connect to someone who will just take the time to understand their experience, that will ask questions, that will say, I'm here to understand you, not fix you. Others in our life, our friends, our family members, want to fix us. They want to take away the pain. That's pretty impossible during a caregiving experience. We can feel relief from our pain. A caregiving experience is a painful one. We understand that. It's really important to me that we offer the right resources at the right time. I update my training material regularly. I update the core material every 2 years, and then I add additional insights on a regular basis. It has to be relevant to today's caregiving experience. I connected with a researcher years ago about a program she had developed. And at the time, it was probably about, oh gosh, almost 10 years beyond her initial research. And so I'd asked her, how do you keep your program relevant and how do you update your research? And she said, I don't. Oh my gosh, that's not good. That is not good. And that was before COVID. That was before what has happened because of the pandemic. I really believe that we have to be up to date about what a family caregiver needs today. And so I try to keep all the material current. It's important to me that family caregivers experience success during their experience. And I also want training program graduates to feel successful. So I ask for feedback when I deliver any of our workshops or training programs or planning sessions, and people like what we're doing. I love to create opportunities. I just submitted a grant proposal this morning with a colleague, and we included certified caregiving consultants in our training, in our grant proposal, so that they are reimbursed for providing training and creating training programs. I'm working on another one with the same colleague that will submit at the end of May. And we are using our network of certified caregiving consultants in the grant proposal, reimbursing them for their support and help. It's important to me that opportunities are available for our training program participants. And then just a little bit about me. I launched caregiving.com in 1996. I sold it to Ohio's Hospice in 2020. And then I helped my dad for a little over 19 years and my mom for 7. Just like to make sure that it's clear that our programs are not a training program for certified nursing assistants. Again, I really think about these as training programs for caregiving coaches, for caregiving virtual assistants, for caregiving facilitators, caregiving mentors. So we're not about certified nursing assistants. We're not specific to a disease process. We are specific to the caregiving experience. And there's lots of great resources for those who are interested in starting a small business. We include some. We are very specific about marketing and marketing plans, but the logistics of starting a small business is best to go to your small business association and your local chapter. So we're right for you when you want to help and support family caregivers or former family caregivers. We're right for you if you want to be a volunteer. We have programs that are great for those who want to volunteer. We also have programs that are great when you want to start a small business and offer services that you charge for. And I'm just going to mention this last thing, and then I'll open it up for some questions. This research came out about 18 months ago. 80% of family caregivers want to pay for services that help them manage. 90% cannot name a company that stands out in helping them, which is why family caregivers need a local resource that has insights about resources within a community, as well as can offer help and support to manage an experience. Okay. So what questions might you have so far for those of you who are joining live?
One of my questions is, I lived in Illinois during all my caregiving years. However, I moved to Florida a year ago. So different states have different kinds of resources. And so how am I going, since I'm living here now and wanting to do this work here, how am I going to find out the resources for this area?
You already found resources when you were in a caregiving experience. How did you find those resources?
Well, because I was educated and because I had personal kind of a curious wherewithal, search until you find, and cover every rock kind of a thing until I find what I'm looking for. A lot of people I'm finding, and some that I've talked, they don't know how to do that. And so here I have to start over. I had a lot of resources because I worked as a social worker in Illinois. So I had a lot of resources. Here, I'm starting over from scratch, and I'm not currently working with an agency. Uh, am not truly interested in doing that, but I don't know how to find out what's available here for me to pass on that information to others.
It's all about networking. You have the skills that are easily applicable in finding resources. You could start by attending networking meetings, and it doesn't have to be a networking meeting related to a personal caregiving experience. It could be networking meetings around any topic that is of interest to you. In the state of
Well, I
Illinois,
did do that. I went to I know a lot about different diseases, but I didn't know that much about Parkinson's. So I did go to a Parkinson's seminar given by doctors and people who had the disease, and um, all of those kinds of people. And I did learn a lot, and I did take down all those resources. But again, that's for Parkinson's
yes,
related
yes,
information. I want to offer this to caregivers in general.
yes, yep,
Because
yeah.
as you say, I'm not going to fix them, but I like to, I'm a resource person. And when I was working as a social worker, resources is very valuable.
Yes. So the other thing that I'm going to suggest you do is look to health fairs for seniors, because those vendors are going to be resources for you. I just got a notification about a health fair for seniors that's happening in June, just near my house. They happen all the time now, which is great. They were on hold during the pandemic, but now there's a lot of events that are happening. So look for events that are health fairs that you can go to. The vendors are going to be your resources. Look to your area agency on aging that's in your community and see what resource directory they have available. There's also publications that are available oftentimes in many communities. We have a seniors blue book, which lists all the resources available within a certain locale. It could be a seniors blue book that's in your area or some other senior living directory, but they're going to have all the resources available in your community. And then just start to ask people, what resource do you use? Why do you use them? How do you use them? If you start establishing relationships with resources, you're actually also creating referrals for your small business. So if you just collect resources around an adult day program, for instance, you could reach out to them to find out more so that you have information about them. And then you can let them know you're starting a small business or a resource for family caregivers. Ask if you could drop by and leave business cards in case they have clients that could be of use, could use your services. Same with attorneys that are in your community, financial planners, senior centers if they have any specific caregiving
I
programs.
think going to the county health department, like in Illinois, we had the DuPage County Health Department. And in that, they had a lot of resources. So I think I'm in Lee County, for instance, so I could contact the Lee County
Yeah,
Health Department.
yep. And within your community, if there are community events and you connect with a family caregiver, just ask, what resources do you use? What resources would you like to use that you can't find? I want to mention too that no matter where you live and no matter how many resources you've been compiling, this is an ongoing project. Resources change all the time. Individuals within a resource change, meaning who your contact was last year might not be who your contact is this year. So it feels like a very specific problem because you moved, but it's actually a problem we all have. We are all on a regular basis ensuring that we have an up-to-date list of resources in our community, which
Right.
is, yeah, Yeah, which is why it's helpful to start really looking to what events can I attend? What health fairs can I attend? What kind of community programs that are of interest to me can I attend?
Meg, I would also like to just say, I went through the program in 2016 with Denise. It was wonderful. I was a caregiver for my mom, and I went on to be a caregiver for my aunt. I lived in Atlanta at the time, but I'm from Wisconsin, so I just relocated back to Wisconsin, and I realized that this is something that I really want to do workshops, and I become certified, but I let my certification go because I wasn't staying active. But the initial program was that she had was great, but this is taking it to a whole nother level. Denise is so helpful, and I'm here again. I'm truly vested in the program, and the growth that I've seen happen, and just everything that she's doing, and like the Department of Aging, because I'm here from Wisconsin, so I kind of have some resources. But I just wanted to give her that this is not a paid anything. I'm truly just uh, someone who
Oh yeah, we know how it goes. Yeah,
went
we know.
through just want you to know that I mean, I was like at a place in my life, as you get like, what do I really want? I want to do something where I feel like I'm really helping people and going
Right.
through the journey with my mom. I'm a benefit HR person and professional. So I knew how to navigate and get the information for her, and this program helped. And we were able to care for my mom for 10 years in a nursing home, but she had, it was I wasn't, I'm gonna say great experience, but I don't think it would have, if we didn't have the knowledge that I had acquired through this program and just my own education, it would have been a different story. So just want you
Right.
to know, thinking about it, Denise is a great person, there for you.
Oh, I've taken classes from Denise off and on
Yes.
over the years.
Yeah,
Several.
so So I just found her online because I wanted to help my mother. I didn't know, just get all the information I could at that time. Yeah, it was, I believe it was 2015, 2016. And I just came across the website, and I told a lot of people about it, about how helpful it was. And I found myself through the years helping people, just giving them information. And so I said, you know what? And people keep telling me, you really should do this professionally. You have the heart and for it. And it's something that I like doing more than anything else that I've ever tried.
Good. Thank you.
Could I mention one other way that you can stay current on resources? And that is you can set up Google alerts so that you receive a list of newspaper articles or blog posts or press releases related to, you could have a Google alert for caregiving events in Lee County, Florida, for instance, senior events in Lee County, Florida. Those could be the alerts you set up, and then you receive an email as often as there are events that meet those, that it's almost like you set up a search criteria, and then Google sends you a list of all the articles that meet those search criteria. So it's Google Alerts. I have Google Alerts set up for caregiving, family caregivers, hospitals, long-term care facilities. So every morning I get all these messages from Google with different articles.
How do you do that?
How do I set it up as a Google alert?
Yeah. How do you set up Google alerts?
Yeah. Meg, when we meet next week, we'll set up Google alerts for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Because that'll save time for you. And then you'll get email messages with all the different events that are happening.
Yes, that would be helpful because right now I'm not in Fort Myers proper. I'm in Fort Myers, but I'm an outlying area. I don't have access to these places, except I am going to contact the Lee County Health Department, and
Yeah.
that will help me get started, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
This won't happen until next fall or later. I don't know how long I need to have a training program. How long does that take?
So for the consultant training,
Mhm.
it takes 2 months.
And how often?
So all the material is archived and available to you. So you'll take about 90 hours of self-paced study, and then you join me for 8 hours of live training. You can take that 8 hours in one day, or you can set it up so that you meet with me 2 hours for 4 Tuesdays. We meet for 2 hours on Tuesdays every month, or for full days on a Saturday or a Wednesday every month. So you have a choice of how you schedule your live training. The modules include exercises, quizzes, and assignments. You're doing work for your business as you complete the coursework. For instance, there's a marketing assignment where you reach out to 5 colleagues and you say, I'm thinking about I'm starting a business. Here are the services I'm thinking about offering. Here's the name of my business. Here's how much I'd like to charge. What do you think? Those are just some of the questions suggested. You could think of other questions that are more appropriate for you. So you're going to start actually doing work for your business during the program. In addition, you start actually having practice sessions with clients, one-on-one coaching sessions, group coaching sessions. You create a course. What else do you create? Oh, you do an AI assignment. So you start to use AI to see if you like it. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
little beyond me.
No, Meg, you will be.
You can do it.
Meg, you know what you could, when we meet next week, we'll set up Google alerts for you, and I'll show you how to use AI so that you can start to gather your research about resources in your county. AI is a fabulous way to create a list of resources. It'll save you so much time. You won't eat, you'll wonder if it's going to be able to make you dinner. That's how helpful it's going to be for you. It's amazing. It's amazing. The goal of
Now,
oh, go ahead.
one other question I have is, in Illinois, I was an LCSW. My license is not good in Florida. Do I need an LCSW to do this?
No, not to be a coach through our program. You do not. You have a fabulous background, professionally and personally.
Right.
There is no requirement to be a social worker
Okay.
for our program.
Okay.
Okay, I just wanted to close, and then I'll answer more questions that you might have by letting you know about a special offer that's happening right now. So we did a event on Saturday called Impact Caregiving. Again, I'll include information about it so that you guys can watch it. And forgive me, I'm trying to get back to where I can show you. Okay. So there's a special offer that's happening right now. If you enroll, oh, actually, there's a special offer, and it doesn't necessarily have to be attached to a program, but it's even better if you enroll in the consultant program. Here's what it is. So every year we do a big ideas event where we present big ideas and ask people to give us feedback. So I created a big ideas masterclass. It's a 4-month program. It begins in June. You have a big idea that will change the caregiving experience for the better. We turn it into a 10-minute, almost like a TED Talk, that you present during our event. I help you refine your idea. I help you come up with a 10-minute workshop so that it's a compelling idea and includes a call to action. You present this idea, you get immediate feedback, then you have a video as well as feedback from the audience. In addition, this 10-minute TED Talk type workshop becomes your keynote presentation. So this 4-month program starts in June. You have a prep call with me in June, and then you start working on your big idea. We meet in April. You present your big idea to us. We refine it. We help you with your presentation. And then you practice delivering this TED style talk so that you're ready in October. So again, what you're creating is a big idea in a 10-minute type TED Talk style talk that becomes your keynote presentation that you can deliver at workshops, at conferences. So the big idea class includes 4 calls with me. I give you guidance and instructions, and I give you support and feedback. You might think, well, who are you, Denise, to be doing this? So I just want to let you know that I've been doing this and that I've had a lot of big ideas, but I'll just tell you about 2 that I present regularly. And I get feedback on these big ideas, and the feedback is always good. So I can help you with your big ideas so that you also have good results. So the cost to enroll in this Big Ideas Masterclass is $400. We have a limit number of seats available. However, if you enroll in our consultant program, you can receive this training at no cost. Okay, so that's my offer to you.
Now, I took those 2 classes, your
Yes, you
17
did.
stages
Yes,
and your 6 caregiving stages, which I enjoyed very much. Are those your big ideas?
those are a couple of the big ideas that I've had. And it is the idea that we could stage the caregiving experience. So that's a big idea I developed in 1997. And that has become books and keynotes. And then the other big idea that I'm giving you an example of is this idea that we should look at how many systems we manage, navigate, and advocate within the caregiving experience. That when
Oh,
we talk,
yes.
that when we talk about system navigation, we are talking about it in an incomplete way, that there are 17 different systems that we manage, advocate, and navigate within. I've had other big ideas related to what the emergency room should look like to be more comfortable for us and for our carees. I've had big ideas related to, well, honestly, one of the other big ideas I had is that we can take our lived experience, complete a training program, and become caregiving consultants that people hire. That's a big idea too.
I never thought about charging for this. This was something I wanted to do to help others. I did have 2 programs when I lived in Naperville. I had a support group for women whose husbands had the disease. There were 8 of us, and we met for 10 years. This last November, we all met for lunch. Luckily, 2 of us who were out of town were in town at the same time, and we discussed where we are now. And our spouses have deceased, and we're all thriving. And I kind of would like a way to present these gals to caregivers in a video. I did contact Rush, where we had the big area support group through Rush, and then I had my own small one. But how we have all thrived after we're done with this exhausting journey. And I don't know how that would work, but I think it would be helpful for other caregivers to hear our stories and then to see that we're all walking, talking, healthy individuals who can still
Yes.
think and still have a good time in life.
Yes. Okay. So that is fabulous. And here's what I would suggest you start to do is that you put together a little survey to capture some data from this group of 10, because this is a really interesting group. And there are themes you can pull out about what they did either during or after that has helped them today. And you want to capture those themes. You have a really interesting group of women to research that turns into okay, everybody, I have figured out a couple really important pieces that all family caregivers need in order to be okay after caregiving ends. Based on my research, here they are. Here are the 2 things that we need to make sure every family caregiver has. And then you turn that into a storytelling workshop about the 10 women, about your relationship with them, how you met, what you did when you met, how you maintained the relationship. And then you also create little story vignettes about them. That is fabulous. You've got a research project that turns into a couple big ideas. That's amazing. That's amazing.
And then I have another one is from time to time, my husband had to go into a facility. I had very bad experiences with facilities. The first one I started with was after several years of caregiving. I wanted a break. I sent him to a break or to a facility. I gave them a bullet list of how to handle him. They didn't pay attention to it. And before I knew it, they were giving him that jab in the muscle with the those two drugs. I forget what they're called right now, which turned, he lost so many of his basic skills that he could do for himself after they did that. And then it was just downhill from there. I would like to find a way to go into nursing homes to tell them to pay attention to the caregivers and to learn how to caregive. A lot of these nursing homes don't know how to care for a strong male who's not old and weak, who's strong. My husband was 62 when diagnosed, and he wasn't fat, but he was big and muscular. He is 6'3.5". And how to, approach him, walk straight to him, say, Mike, may I take off your shirt? Instead of just grabbing it and taking it off. I mean, he'd fight him like hell. And then we'd be in big trouble and they'd send him off to the psychiatric unit. I mean, there was 4, so I'd have to think exactly how many, but there were several of those experiences, which really made me mad because it frustrated him. He didn't know what they were doing and they didn't care to tell him. So that's another one of my ideas.
If
Man,
you could,
you're stealing my idea. No,
you could, no, they're all great. You guys, so
No.
what I would suggest is that you create resource flyers that are easy to put up in the staff break room that staff can look at when they're on break. Tips to have a successful morning with a particular type of resident.
Right, that's what I was thinking, because my mother was in a nursing home for 10 years, and we developed, I've seen a couple administrators and different people go through, but I put together I had a good support. My family was here, so it was 5 siblings, cousins and church members. We had a rotating schedule where my mother was never alone. My brother spent the night out, navigated that with the nursing home, but they really don't understand. And that nursing home, they did tell me, they said, when you come, if you get this program together, you can come back and talk to caregivers that come in, because we got to know them personally and they got to know us personally, but they really don't understand. We understand that they have things going on, but and we had the notes posted and different things. There were some CNAs that were better than others, but
go for the bottom line. Give us the bottom line.
Yeah, so the bottom line was, that's what I said I want to do too. I want to create something for families, as well as a guide sort of for the nursing homes, to just be able to, when you need respite care, you bring your loved one there, or if they're for permanent stay, how to work with them and how you can make their experience better.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to tell you quite honestly, if it's not something that is simple, it's going to be difficult for a facility to manage. And there's a lot of upheaval in facilities right now because of new staffing mandates that are happening. So I would think about, maybe it's not a skilled nursing facility, but maybe it's an assisted living facility or independent living, just because you want to go to the marketplace that has the ability to receive the information and use it. And it might not be the time for nursing homes.
Yeah, I can see that, right? Yeah, because a skilled assisted living, they're mobile and they're there independently, and so they don't need the level of care versus a nursing home. So, because my uncles, they were in Fort Myers, Florida, but they moved to Virginia, and they were in a just lovely assisted living facility. So,
And it speaks to the importance of staying informed about market trends. What's happening that that's going to impact skilled nursing facilities? Again, because they have a staff mandate that they have to now figure out. There are other constraints in terms of resources that they're managing. And I would also tell you that I think there is, it's I don't want to get too much into market trends, but I think more and more individuals are going to be in the home and in the community because there's not going to be the availability of facilities. We already see closures of facilities. There are more closures of facilities now than I would say ever. I don't have the data at hand. But if
Why
you
is that? Why is that?
staffing,
Okay.
there just isn't the staff to actually hire in
Okay, I see that.
facilities. Yeah,
Yep.
it's a really, 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 really tough business to be in these days. However, if you create resource lists or resource flyers that could be used in a facility, you can easily tweak them for a family caregiver to use in their house. So that maybe they have one little area of their house where they have flyers that are like posters that they can go to and think, oh, okay, I'm having a hard time with this today. Now I know what to do.
You know, it's also for these companies that send people out. I took care of Mike at home, except for 2 occasions. One, he had to go in because of an infection. One, because he went in because they didn't know how to handle him and he got belligerent. But the people they sent to me, supposedly qualified, I went through 6 in 1 week.
Yes.
Because they thought they were coming to take care of a little old man. They thought they were coming to take care of a rich person who would give them lots of goodies. And that he basically told me that, and that one guy. And they would up and leave me with this man by myself. And one night we had my son fixed a way for him so he didn't crawl out of bed and he would fall and hurt himself. And he did get out of bed one of these nights when these people left me, and I had to call a neighbor to come and help me get him up. I couldn't do that for him by myself because he was big. And it's these people called Helping Hand or whatever would just send you people. They didn't know what they were doing, didn't have a clue, and weren't interested in being trained. They wanted to walk in, take care of a little old man sitting in a chair, and that's it.
So I just want to be aware of our time because I just want to close this out
Okay.
just a minute, but I want to mention that that is a common problem. It happens all the time. And it really is around educating family caregivers about that could happen. And here's what you need to do if the agency sends a staff member that's not appropriate. Because we
Right.
don't know what to do. It's educating the family caregiver about what to do in those situations because it's
Right.
horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. And
is.
I'd love to say that happens once in a while. It happens all the time. It's terrible. That's that lived experience of understanding that you cannot trust that you're going to get the right help at the right time with the right training is really helpful. So a family caregiver is prepared. And that's really what we do in the training. So these are the costs for the program. If you want to enroll, you can enroll in our Big Ideas program at the same time. And the Big Idea program is free when you enroll in our consultant or family comfort care program. And then if you just want to test some things out, you can enroll in some programs and pay what you want. Our advocate program is 1 hour. If you want to just volunteer, you can volunteer as a mentor. Meg, I just want to mention that some of our consultants take the training program, take the caregiving consultant program, knowing that they're not going to charge. It's up to the consultant in terms of how you structure your services. But we do talk about how to charge.
Well,
there's,
I know what these people go through because money is a very volatile situation because you don't know how long they're going to live and you don't know how much care you're going to have to pay for. So I I never paid for any consult. Well, I had my own, I was my own consultant in that because I knew how to do it. But I would just, I just know what these stress and I don't want to cause them any more stress by charging. You know, I think it's worthwhile to charge a little bit to help them to be more invested, but that would be minimal $10 or, you know, nothing big. I don't know how that you feel about that, but I just know the stress and financial stress is one of the things of caregiving.
so I really believe it's the individual consultant who determines the pricing strategy. I do believe that some pricing has to be a part of it because in order for people to get the true value, they have to invest time and money. We invest and pay attention to what we put our money and time into. And I have seen that in the training program. Interestingly enough, when I first launched it in 2016, I wanted everybody to take it. So I priced it very low. And guess what? No one, no one really valued it. And it only got better when I charged more.
Hmm.
And we also give suggestions about what you can charge. And we really look at what's affordable. And it's not a service that a family caregiver has to use every week or every month. You can structure it so that they are using you quarterly, for instance. So when you think about what's affordable, it also includes how often do they use the service. So it's not just the cost of a 30-minute coaching call, but it's also thinking about, given the budget, how often could those coaching call happens? And maybe it's just once a year where you have a family emergency planning session with a client. And then the client reaches out when there's a crisis. And that could be a couple times a year. Because a caregiving experience lasts for a long time, we want to be a resource that's available for a long time. So we can really think through what's the budget for a family caregiver and come up with solutions that meet their budget. Okay, how's that sound?
Oh, you know, all of this is something I'm going to have to think through because I'm leaving at the end of June for 5 weeks in Colorado for a different kind of training. It's through church. And part of me would like to somehow, not that I want to preach to these people or anything like that, be a spiritual support as well. So I'm combining a couple or putting together a couple of things here. I'm already signed up for this 5 weeks in Colorado. I will see what that's like. I don't know how much time I would have between now and when I leave in Colorado to do that beginning with you. So I have to think through all this and see how it's going to fit. But I kind of think I will do the Colorado one first because I've already signed up for that. Are you hearing me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'm just going to put something in the chat room for you. And that is an opportunity to schedule time with me next week. And I'm going to close for now. So I'm going to say thanks to those who joined me live. And if you are watching the archive, feel free to reach out with questions. And I'll also include a link to my calendar so you can schedule time with me. Okay, thanks everyone. Don't leave, Meg. I'm going to put something in the chat room for you.